and I quote, "I'll be there in a minute. Give me a second."
Time is relative, folks. Time is relative.
Yes. So, hey, cheers to everybody in the chat.
They're a division rival. I don't care how many wins they get. Screw them.
That wasn't the take I was expecting to hear.
I want to gush over watching live Chris Tanev.
I think that we completely underestimate the skill it takes to play defense.
One highlight or several highlights does not a Calder trophy make.
I'm stepping in here. I'm going to be the crotchety old man here. They need to learn patience. They need to understand the tension and everything and the drama.
How dare! Look at this! How is McDavid not getting a penalty?
You guys need to calm down with this, okay? You guys need to calm down with it.
Well, hello and welcome to the Shifts and Pucks news pack for Friday, February the 10th. Of course, you can follow us on Twitter at Shifts and Pucks, Facebook.com Shifts and Pucks, YouTube.com Shifts and Pucks. Subscribe wherever you get your audio, as well as on the Area 51 Sports Network. As we have, of course, we'll be talking about the Flames' loss to the Detroit Red Wings. We'll touch on the Canucks' win against the New York Islanders, Bo Horvat winning or facing Bo Horvat and the New York Islanders. And then we've got breakfast hockey tomorrow. Canucks are playing Detroit at 9 Pacific. The Flames are playing Buffalo at 9:30 Pacific. So lots of breakfast hockey tomorrow. Even tons of games tomorrow. We'll touch on the games today as well. But let's go with the Flames first, as they went into Detroit and lost 2-1, and saw this from stat from Ring of Fire. I'm just going to pull this up here. Ring of Fire CGY does a recap after all Flames games, and he, by the way, wrote an article about the Flames here, about selling, but we'll get to the thoughts. He said something very interesting. 8-5-4 against the bottom 11 teams in the National Hockey League. So you kind of look at Detroit as a bottom tier team. They've lost twice to Columbus, a bottom tier team. They lost to Chicago twice, bottom tier teams. And just in terms of their overall play, not enough off. Like, sure, you will look at the stats and say the shots were 36-17 favoring the Flames. Surely they got high offensive opportunities. Surely they got going. Surely it was just a masterful night from Ville Husso. No, it really wasn't. High danger chances. The Red Wing, according to Natural Stat Trick, Detroit outchanced Calgary 6-5. The Flames were 0 for 3 in the power play. Got nothing there, and ultimately they needed a goal. They couldn't get it. And Daryl Sutter said yesterday, the quote that sticks out for me is, "I've said a lot. We couldn't get the goal what we needed." And it was another night where they did not get the goal that they needed. Jonathan Huberdeau, by the way, 0 points, 0 shots on goal. So for the Flames right now, there are a lot of things just not gelling. This does not look like a team that is connected. People wondered if that game against the Rangers with all of the fisticuffs and everything would galvanize the team together. Sure didn't look like a galvanized team against Detroit. This looks like a team just not engaged, underperforming. Lindholm, we talked about Huberdeau. Elias Lindholm has been inconsistent. Nazem Kadri, inconsistent. As much as, we can be impressed with that line of Backlund, Coleman, Andrew Mangiapane, and they've been their best line. That's one. I like what Chris Dittman said when I pointed that, that's an indictment on the team. But two, even though they've been the best line, have they been that good? I don't know. And then Devin tweeted in our chat, tweeted last night about the struggles Trevor Lewis is having moving the puck. This forward group in general isn't looking great. I'd like to know why not Lindholm and Huberdeau. Maybe it's time to put them back together again. This team needs some sort of spark. But they did get they opened the scoring. They from Blake Coleman at 18:07 from Hannafin and Backlund. Remember, no Rasmus Anderson. He's day to day due to the accident that he had on a scooter in Detroit. But they couldn't even hold the lead into the second period. Dylan Larkin gets a 16th from David Perron and Maurice Sider on a power play, which was one of the difference. And then Philip Zadina, who scores his first goal since November, gets the winner at 5:51 from Sundqvist and Robert Hagg. So, they Nikita Zadorov took a double minor. Andrew Mangiapane took a late penalty for interference. Dan Vladar allows 2 goals. They get 1. And just the inconsistency with the Calgary Flames, especially against this last year they were able to feast on these bottom 11 teams to get themselves into the position in first place. This year, their play against these bottom 11 teams might cost them a playoff spot, quite frankly. We had the poll out if we thought that the Flames would be a playoff team, top 3, and I was of the belief in my mind that I think that was possible. But now I'm not, honestly, I have to tell you, I'm not sure. I'm not sure where the Flames are. And I'm not trying to overreact here, but, they're not taking advantage of opportunities and that they've had in front of them. This road trip, Rangers, Detroit, Buffalo, Seattle, these are winnable games, and you've got to start winning here. I mean, it's going to look like this comes down to really Minnesota and Calgary. Like, Calgary's best shot right now it looks like to get into the playoffs is through the wild card, and that just got to feel disappointing if you're a Flames fan. Just ultimately disappointed about that here. You got Seattle at 63 points, Vegas 66 points. The Oilers, they lost last night to Philadelphia, but they're at 63 points. And then you got the LA Kings at 63 points. This is just an overall been a very disappointing year for Calgary. It continues to be. They are not taking advantage of the opportunities that have been put in front of them. This team is not gelled. This team just looks, it's exasperating to watch. And, you can't really blame injuries for this. They have been generally pretty healthy. I mean, Rasmus Anderson notwithstanding, they haven't had Colorado was in a situation here. There's with Cale Makar out of the lineup for some time. They've had Nathan McKinnon out for some time. They've had a bunch of players out for some time, and they're still hanging in there at 58 points in the playoff battle as well. But the Flames haven't had that excuse presented in front of them. This is extremely concerning what's going on in Calgary. I don't know what else to say about that in terms of that. Detroit, they get the win. Don't think Detroit was spectacular in any way, shape, or form. Quite frankly, it wasn't the greatest hockey game of all time. Not even close. But Detroit gets the win, and good for them. So as far as the Canucks go from last night, say one thing about the Canucks this year, at least their games have been entertaining, if not, not amusing. It's been entertaining. A 6-5 against the New York Islanders. That was the Bo Horvat first game against his old team game. And started, Islanders opened the scoring. Kyle Palmieri his 8th. And from Bailey and Pellick, Oliver Ekman-Larsson from Pedersen tied it. Ekman-Larsson got his second. Brock Besser got his 10th at 12:30 from Miller and Riley Stillman. And then Brock Nelson got his 20th at 14:34. So 2-2 after one. Matthew Barzell from Dobson and Anders Lee started things off to make it 3-2 Islanders. Then Bo Horvat got his 33rd and his first against his former team to make it 4-2 from Barzell and Pulak. He almost got another goal, but it was ruled kicked in. So there on a power play, Rick Tocchet challenged. But Neil Zaman made it 4-3 from Phil DiGiuseppe, who's been playing well. Dakota Joshua, who's also been playing well, got the assist as well. And then Pedersen from Hughes and Besser started the third, tied. And then Pedersen again from Besser and Bear. And then Brock Besser again, his 10th from Besser and Anthony Beauvillier scores against his own team, pardon me. Besser gets another assist. So that's 3 assists from Brock Besser and Quinn Hughes on the power play. And then Dobson makes it close at 19-11 to make it 6-5. So the Canucks were 2 for 4 in the power play. You've got Brock Besser had 4 points. Elias Pettersson 3 points. Besser, I think he looks so much comfortable playing with Pettersson. I've never really understood the split there, but that happened. Whatever. This team at least continues to generate offense. There continues to be defensive deficiencies. There continues to be work that needs to be done under Rick Tocchet. And so, we continue to see the growth with this team. And they did this they scored 6 goals against a guy that's been playing very well this year in Ilya Sorokin. I think a lot of people have him in the Vezina category. Colin Delia is 7-3-1 on the year. So, he's getting wins. It's not spectacular, but if you're the Canucks, you come away feeling, you get a win and you're in Detroit to continue the road trip. So, as mentioned, you play in the Red Wings tomorrow for the Canucks. So we'll see what happens as this team continues to grow and prepare for next season. Unfortunately, again, we've talked about that ad nauseum, but that's where the Canucks are at this point. The Flames, of course, will play Buffalo. There are 4 games in the National Hockey League tonight. So let's go to them. As the Seattle Kraken, who are, of course, third in the sitting in second in the Pacific Division, taking on the New York Rangers. And no Andre Burakovsky because of a lower body injury. Martin Jones is back in goal. The Kraken lost to the Devils 3-1 last night. Rangers will have debut Vladimir Tarasenko. He will be on the line with his friend Artemi Panarin and Mika Zibanejad. And Nico Mikkola will also play as well. He will debut on Braden Schneider and Igor Shesterkin will get the call in goal. Toronto Maple Leafs in action against the Columbus Blue Jackets. No Austin Matthews, of course. And Ilya Samsonov gets the call in goal. Joseph Woll backing up. Matt Murray injured. And then for the Blue Jackets, they have Jonas Korpisalo starting in goal. The Connor Bedard Bowl in Chicago, Arizona versus Chicago. Connor Ingram will get the call for Arizona. For Chicago, they will go with Jackson Stauber, who beat the Flames just before the All-Star break, by the way. And you've got also Pittsburgh taking on Anaheim. Casey DeSmith is starting in goal. Tristan Jarry still out with an upper body injury. Pittsburgh, in terms of the standings here, they are sitting in that second wild card spot. Let me just confirm that. I was going by memory there. Second wild card spot set 59 points. Here They have 5 games in hand, by the way, on the New York Islanders. And they are 1 point behind Washington and 7 behind the Rangers in terms of opportunities of moving up. And then of course, Anaheim will have John Gibson starting in goal there as well. So those are the games going on in the National Hockey League. Just 4 games tonight. And we've other news here in terms of assigning Josh Mahura has agreed to a 1-year deal with the Florida Panthers. He would have been a UFA next year. And terms not disclosed, 4 goals, 7 assists, 11 points in 54 games. Hasn't missed a game this year. Not UFA, RFA after the season. Claimed off the waivers from the Ducks on October 10th. So that's that signing there. And in terms of other injury news, of course, in terms of other injury news in the NHL, we've got Jonathan Toews out 2 more weeks, which is interesting as we get to head to the trade deadline. He will not play tonight against Arizona. He starts a road trip. By the way, the Blackhawks, Winnipeg Jets in Winnipeg. It's the late game on Hockey Night in Canada, 9:00 in Winnipeg Mountain Time. So that's interesting. But Toews not playing tomorrow. Liam O'Brien returns to the lineup tonight as part of the Coyotes against Chicago. He hasn't played since he hurt his right hand on December 16th. K.O. Makar out 1 more game with the Avalanche for an upper body injury. He got injured on Tuesday in the 2-1 overtime loss to the Penguins. He missed previously 4 games with an upper body injury from January 18th to 24th. And Austin Matthews, he skated in a non-contact jersey and practiced for the first time since January 25th when he sustained that knee sprain against the New York Rangers. So we'll see how long. He was expected to be out 3 weeks. Sometimes I think what they do is just lengthen these and just in case. But that's what's going on there in terms of what's going on for the Rangers. What's going on in the National Hockey League. AHL back in action tonight. It's been their All-Star break is over. They've got games going on tonight. And those include we've got Belleville and Cleveland, Toronto taking on Coachella Valley, Manitoba taking on Grand Rapids, Las Vegas taking on Hartford, Syracuse and Laval, where the All-Star game was in Palace Bell, the arena in Laval, Hershey and Utica, Wilkes-Barre taking on Providence, Springfield taking on Rochester, Iowa taking on Chicago, Rockford taking on Milwaukee, Texas and Colorado, Abbotsford's home to Tucson, Ontario taking on Bakersfield, and Coachella Valley is taking on San Diego. My apologies, got the initials wrong there, and it's Toronto taking on taking on Charlotte. My apologies, and I got the initials wrong there, and Ontario, Bakersfield, Coachella Valley, San Diego, Calgary is in San Jose to take on the Barracuda, and in the WHL. They've got a bunch of games going on tonight as well, as we've got the Oil Kings taking on the Brandon Wheat Kings. Prince Albert Raiders are taking on the Prince Alberts in action tonight as they take on the Swift Current Broncos. You've got the Medicine Hat Tigers taking on the Lethbridge Hurricanes, where they will be honoring the 1984 championship team. So a good historical moment there. Saskatoon Blades will be taking on Kamloops Blazers. And the Prince George Cougars are taking on the Kelowna Rockets. They played earlier this week in Prince George, by the way. And it was... so they've kind of been in a back-to-back sort of situation here. Prince George won 7-2, so Kelowna will be looking for some revenge in that one. And you've got Spokane hosting the Everett Silvertips. You've got the Red Deer Rebels in Seattle taking on the Thunderbirds. Portland taking on the Tri-City Americans. And then in Victoria, the Vancouver Giants are taking on the Victoria Royals. So that is the news for today. Not a lot going on, but we will be back for some podcasts this weekend, talking Flames, talking Canucks within the next few days here. So you'll see Sean, Tyler, Gavin, hopefully, and Chris as well. We'll get that schedule all set up, but you can also follow us individually on Twitter. Sean Beardy Canuck 03, Tyler TNOBLE, Chris Schneids SCHNEIDZ, and Devin Gordhow 09. I am KEVOLE. And of course, you can follow me there, Shifts and Pucks, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. Subscribe wherever you get your audio, as well as on the Area 51 Sports Network. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. We will talk to you all very soon. Bye for now.